Hello everyone, today we are going to learn about DataFrame.inputFiles function in PySpark. This function returns a list of file paths from which the data frame was read. So useful to trace the source file for the lineage over debugging purpose. So if you need to know like, hey, I have this data frame from which files this was created. So that's the question. If we want to answer, then we can use the input files function here. Now we are creating this sample data that has name, country and age. Then we are creating this data frame, and then once the data frame is created, I'm getting the total number of partition. Why I'm doing that? Because I want to show you for each of the partition there will be one separate file created. And then what I'm doing here is my output path, and I have provided the output path here. Then I'm saying df.write.mode overwrite option header true and CSV output to path. So I'm writing this data frame to the this path. So the name of the file will be something like this, input files PySpark underscore input files underscore demo.csv, and it will have header as well. Once I create those files, what I will do, I will read them back, and that's we are see right here, I'm reading this data frame here, and then I'm reading from the that output path. So why I'm doing this all, because I don't have example to show you like file sitting in the blob storage or something. I could have read them and show you this. In this case, I'm actually writing the files first and then reading it back. So that's where I can present you the how I can use the input paths input files function to show you the from where these files are loaded to the data frame. Now here, once the data frame is created from and we know that this has read all the files from the output path, and then I can use input files function, and here I am defining a variable, and then I say df loaded, that's where the files are loaded in this data frame, and then I said input files, no parameter at all. So what it's going to give us is going to create a list, and then we will loop through that list and print that out. So see right here, so we have I said 4 path in file paths, that's our variable right there, and then we are printing a path. So every time it is looping, and we are going to print one file at a time, and then we are saying df loaded dot show, that will show us all the records from the data frame. Now as I said that there are only 4 records here in our sample data. Now once I execute, you see right there, these are 4 records right there in the data frame, and then the right next is the number of partition. So I check the partition for the data frame df, and it is showing me 4. So you can see right there, there are 4 partitions, and then we loaded those created the files. So 4 files got created, and then when we read them back, and in the data frame right there, we read all of them, and then we can see that by using input files, which were those files, you can see right there. So see right there, PySpark input files demo.csv, and it says part. So now there were 4 files created, 0 1 2 3 4 3. So there are total 4 files, and this is the actual data frame I'm showing you. Now how I'm sure these are the 4 files, okay, because there are one for each partition there is a file created, that's why I know that. Now if I will go ahead and maybe merge those partition, then we can create less number of files. So if I will say df equal to df dot repartition, and then I will provide only 2 partition. So in this case, what I'm doing here, and then I'm going to print it again. So now we repartitioned, and we are creating 2 partition in data frame, and that's where we are saving in the same data frame, and here I'm printing that again. So in this case, now 2 files will be created. So now you see that the original there were 4 partition when we created the data frame from this sample data. Then by using the repartition, I have converted to 2 partitions, and now when we wrote those files, there were only 2 files created, and then we read those files back by using it here, df loaded and spark.read option, and provided read all the files from the output path. Then 2 files are loaded back, and then we check those path of those files, and that's where we can see right in there. and we have to loop through that list of the files, and that's why we are printing one at a time and seeing the actual files. Okay, so it is helpful in many cases when you only need to get the list of the files from which the data frame is created. You can use the file input files function in the PySpark. I thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel, and I will see you guys in next video.